Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SCE Live Podcast. My name is Sam Conlon, and as always, it wouldn't be a SCE Live Podcast if I didn't have my trusted friend and podcast sidekick, Mr. Christopher Vons. How you doing, mate?
Hey, how are you, mate? It's an exciting one today.
Well, we've got a bit of a coup this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've got an American singer-songwriter all the way from New York. It's Miss Jessica Lynn. How are you doing, Jessica?
Hey!
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Well, thank you very much for doing this. I know you've got a very busy schedule. You've had 1,000 Zoom calls, and I believe you've got a performance that you're doing today as well.
Yeah, too. I'm going to be filming and live streaming until about 7 p.m. my time, and it's 1:30 here now. So I was glad we made this work. I love your guys' energy. You're energizing me for the day.
Well, that's we try to do it each week. This is our 43rd podcast, Sam.
Something like that. Well, yeah. Originally, we started it during lockdown. Our first lockdown was March last year, and yeah, we thought, why not? Let's do some form of podcast. Obviously, our agency has lots of different artists and acts, including solos, duos. You know what? We're here. Let's plug it. I'm going to do it. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you follow us on @SCELive for Facebook. Twitter is @SCELive_1, and on Instagram, we are @SCELiveUK. Yeah, we started it because originally we thought, why don't we get our artists to perform and do lives? And we thought the logistics of it would be a little bit too mad. So we thought, why don't we do a podcast and get these fantastic artists not only maybe perform maybe one or two songs, but talk about their career. So let's talk about you, Jessica. Tell us from day dot, where does your musical career start?
I kind of have an interesting journey. I was being in New York, country music was never ever a thing. Like all my friends were listening to rap and, like pop and stuff on the radio. Like, God forbid I told them I was listening to Glenn Campbell. I would have been hung. But but as a singer-songwriter, I always did like country, and I was listening to it, at home, even though my dad is, we're Italian from Brooklyn, New York. Even though my dad's a retired New York City street cop,
wow.
Like a hardened street cop, he loved country music. And so he always had it on in my house. And I really felt connected to it growing up because of the stories. So even though I started my first band and I was actually playing professionally all over Manhattan, doing international battle of the bands and cool things, and I was only 13 years old. Wow. When I turned about 19, I said, you know what, I want to do country music. I want to be a solo artist, because that band that I was in as a teenager, we came very close to a lot of really cool things, including a major record deal. And they were kids. And even though I was a kid, I never acted like a kid. I always knew, this is my career. I'm dedicated. They wanted to hang out with friends on the weekends. I wanted to stay home and practice. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. I said, if anyone's ever going to screw this up for me again, I want it to only be me. Wow. And I turned into a solo artist. I wrote an album's worth of country material. And I said to my dad, we're a family band. So my dad is also my bass player, and he's also my manager. And I said, all right, let's do a demo. I got all this music. Let's start shopping me as country. And he's like, why don't you do something different? Everybody does a demo and puts it out or whatever. And he loves to this day to say, I was right. I had the golden idea. He said, why don't we do a television special instead? And I have to say, I fought him. I was like, no one is ever going to air an unknown artist. Why wouldn't everybody just do that then? Here's a television special. Put me on national TV.
Wow.
And it went on national TV to our surprise. I mean, honestly, like, we worked so hard. We had a shoestring budget. Like, it was the most low budget. I mean, I can't even tell you, but we put so much heart and soul into it. And it got picked up. It started to spread and spread. Then we started to get all these calls for country music festivals and this and that. And then I went on tour with people. My whole career spiraled from that one thing happening. And it's so funny how one event can really change your life forever.
And they took a punt on you. They said, right, let's just put it on the telly. And it went from there, yeah?
And I feel in this business, there's so many talented people out there. There's so much. so much competition that's really what you need, is just one person to see that something inside of you and be like, yeah, I'll give you a shot.
Wow.
And public television, just PBS here, they did that for me. And now they're on Amazon Prime too, in both the UK and the USA.
Which is fab because Amazon Prime now is just the biggest machine kind of in the world now. Amazon is keeping at the moment the world going with television. It's keeping this country in England going with packages. Everyone's just delivering. Amazon is just the thing to do at the moment, because in England we're completely locked down again. So all we've got to do is spend our money on buying things to get delivered.
I know, it's the silliest thing. I buy so much stuff on Amazon and internet shopping. I feel so bad for like our UPS guy and the delivery guy, because I also live on a hill, and every day he also brings treats for my dog. We gave him a nice Christmas present. I'm like, you're literally hiking every single day up here to give me. You don't even know what you ordered anymore. They show up, you're like, oh, okay, whatever.
I'll be honest. I ordered a garlic press the other day, so that's my mundane thing. A garlic press. What's probably the most mundane thing that you've bought, Jessica, off Amazon or anything like that?
Probably slippers in the shape of animals. I have them on. Can you see them?
Hey, yes, we can.
Are you gonna wear them tonight on the live stream while you're playing?
Of course.
Hey!
I'll never forget my first big television interview. I went to the studio. This was years ago, and the guy's dressed in this nice suit, and I go back to shake his hand, and he has pajama pants on and slippers. And you know what? I'm like, this guy is living life right. Like, this is what I have to do now that I'm working from behind a desk or sitting down with these live streams.
That's the beauty of these Skype and Zoom, because you can be all business on the top and pajamas on the bottom. That's literally what you have to do.
Hopefully some type of pants on the bottom.
Oh, of course. We have to be, clean.
We're not that kind of podcast.
I haven't stood up yet. I don't believe you.
Swiftly moving on. I wanted to. I literally am swiftly moving on. I wanted to delve into the whole, obviously, the production side to this, amazing Amazon special that you've done. Where does you said you had a small budget for the show. How does it start? What obviously you said, your dad had the idea of putting a show together, but contact wise, and tell us, how does it start from day dot as well?
So because of the success of the first one, we wound up doing 2 more full-length television specials. And then I did a mini one during the pandemic that was shot from my living room, actually. And after we kind of knew the ropes a little bit from the first one, the second one, they were never easy. And the way I am, I'm a Capricorn. I'm super type A, like to the max, and organized. I would say that is my greatest skill in life, is organizing and planning. So I wouldn't say they were easier, because the second one was in a huge theater, 1,200 seats. We had sets, we had dancers, visuals. And then the third one had an orchestra. It was a storytelling show. It had different special guests. I rearranged all of the music to make cool versions, more like acoustic-y versions of things. So each show brought its own set of challenges, and challenges not just financially or venue-wise or finding a special guest, but also creatively, to keep coming up with things that look different and exciting. And once each one of those went nationwide, here in America on TV. And then we were like, when the pandemic hit, actually, we're like, let's shop them to Amazon and see. Because like you said, we were doing so much online, and like everybody's home. After seeing how I sat and binge watched Tiger King for like several nights, like, people are binge watching shows right now. We should probably get the specials on there. And honestly, that's how it happened. I'm
not going to tell you what I'm binge watching at the moment. I'm not. I'm just. I'll tell I'll tell you that. Baywatch.
Oh my god. Now
on.
I definitely don't believe you have a full set of trousers on.
I do. The red swimming shorts though. So...
Now, are we talking old Baywatch with Pamela Anderson series?
David Hasselhoff.
The Hoff.
The Hoff. The 90s classic. So I'm binge watching Baywatch. That's what else is there to do?
No.
I know.
There literally is nothing to do. Have you been watching anything yourself, Jess?
I've been so busy that I haven't been watching much TV because we're wrapping up my record. A silver lining for me in this whole pandemic has been that what was supposed to be, we lost an entire world tour. And we were supposed to release just a 6-song EP before we left in May. And we were going to be gone all the way through end of October, 13 countries. And when we lost that, it was very hard in more ways than I can even put into words. But we're like, you know what? We're home. Let's finish this up. Let's add to it. Let's get to writing. And so I've been working this week. We should wrap it up. So it's a very exciting week, a very stressful week of fine tuning, all the final mixes and everything like that. But I've been totally consumed in that.
And have you been obviously writing new material in this lockdown?
I did. Even the record was only supposed to be 10 songs. And then I wound up writing some really great stuff that I said, no, the band, you got to come back over. We got to finish. We got to add these. And they really just, I'm a big believer, like my process in songwriting is not having one. It's when the music, I watched the Bee Gees documentary recently.
Oh, yeah. It's new. Yeah.
And if you haven't it, I highly recommend it. And Barry Gibb talked about how the best songs are given to you. You just receive them. And I truly believe that. And that's how some of the songs for this record came about. I mean, honestly, my favorite track on the whole record is called The Morning Always Comes. And I was sitting here in my living room, just kind of relaxing one day, playing with my dog. And I literally just heard the whole thing. And I wrote it in under 25 minutes. And
Wow.
and that the next day we had the band over and we're recording it for the record. So we don't have a release date for the record yet because there's a lot of cool stuff going on this year, even despite the pandemic for me, that we might be able to release it in a much bigger way later on in the year.
Yeah.
So right now we only have pre-order through my website. We're doing something special where you pay just a little bit more, but you're going to get by the end of next month a hard copy. Each comes signed, and it's the only way to get it now indefinitely.
Wow.
So I felt bad. I keep having to put out notice, guys, the record's coming, but I just added another song to it, so it's going to be a little bit more, but it's worth the wait, I think.
Well, you get more for the money then, don't they? More new tracks, which is what. And do you know when you're writing a song, do you write it on piano or do you play guitar? What's the process?
My emotion usually determines that.
Right.
I usually let the song pick it. I don't know. It just feels right to me to either sit at the piano or the guitar.
Yeah, I find that when I'm writing a song, obviously not on your level, but I kind of have to put it down and pick it up the next day. I can't finish a song in half an hour. It's a skill to do that.
Sometimes it happens for me.
Yeah.
Most of my really good ones come very fast. And then my golden rule of songwriting, which I highly recommend if you like to songwrite to try, I will throw the song out if the next day I can't sing it back or play it back with no reference. Because if you can't remember your own song, how is anybody else in the world supposed to remember it?
And this is why you're a mega star and Night. Because we can't remember them.
It takes us about 3 years to write one song. It's true.
No, but it was a good song.
Yeah.
To each his own. Totally okay. You need the red swim shorts. That's going to be your lucky songwriting item.
Channel in my inner Hoff. But we won't talk about his songwriting. We definitely.
No, not. Yeah.
He had one, didn't he? He had one called "Get in My Car" or something, didn't he?
Yes.
We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. we'll talk about Love Me That Way, which is you released in a pandemic year. Was that how was that to release something when it's such difficult times?
It was very interesting releasing music during the pandemic. I knew that I couldn't just stop, especially because all my touring was canceled, and I knew I had to keep going. But it was difficult in a financial way, being that all of our income sources for not being able to be on the road were stripped from us. It was difficult in a planning way, as there were so many restrictions. For example, the first video, Run To, that we did, which was my first single of the year, it's all outside for safety. Even the part you see with the band is, it looks like we're inside playing, but it's actually a barn with one whole door missing. Everybody had masks on in between takes. And but it was important for me to keep putting out music. And it's funny because if you believe in something and you work really hard despite the circumstances, I'm a big believer that you can overcome. And my singles this year, they got featured in Billboard and CMT and American Songwriter, and things that I just had never imagined possible.
Well, Run To is the song. I'm a guitarist, and it's the song that I went, wow, that solo is just massive. It's huge. It's a huge solo, isn't it? And it just kind of, there's a moment there when you just think, oh, the musicians you've got behind you are just incredible musicians.
Thank you so much.
Because it's just massive, and the solo, everyone needs to hear Run To just for the vocals, because there's a key change. Towards the end, and it builds into it, and then you belt out these massive vocals, and then massive key change, big guitar solo. What more do you need in life?
We always kind of laugh within the band that it's very hard to put a genre on me. Although I am country, I mean, my music is so rock oriented and soul oriented. I usually have like Motown harmonies infused over everything. And we always laugh, the newest term we've been using, it's like country arena rock.
Yeah. I like that.
I can see that.
Funny. I may need to like trademark that.
But country music in this country is big, but it's not country music, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's the older country style, but the new country music, it needs a big kick in this country, because it doesn't get the credit it deserves. Are you going to tour England? Is that part of the schedule when you can?
Yeah, we actually have it booked already. Everything's up on my website. It's a 13-date tour starting May 5th. So fingers crossed. We're prepared either way, but we're really hoping, obviously, that I don't want to lose 2 whole years on the road at all.
Well, all I can say is, if you see 2 lunatics on the front row in red shorts, you know who's come to the game.
I will.
You know who's there?
Be so excited.
Have you been to Liverpool?
Yes, we visited.
Wow. Okay.
We stayed there. We stayed at a very cool hotel. I can't remember the name. It was like Art Deco-ish. And I remember the food being awesome. What was this place that we ate at that was like the cheapest place I've ever seen in my life?
Wetherspoons.
We loved it.
You're probably the most famous person that's ever been in a Wetherspoons in this country.
Well, they're lost, I have to say.
And how did you find in Liverpool, as someone who's from a massive city like New York? How did you find it?
Well, we were touring in Manchester,
right,
and which isn't that far.
No.
And my dad especially is a huge Beatles fan. So we decided, we had 2 days off. So we said, let's go, we'll stay there. We'll, look at the sights and do some Beatle-y stuff. And we had a lot of fun, but I'll never forget the food at that place. I mean, it was like $3 or something like that. And we thought they were going to be like small plates. I think I ordered like 2 dinners, and my husband ordered like 3 or 4 things, thinking for the price you were going to get something like, the table came out and it was like.
No, it's big. Yeah.
It's no tapas in Wetherspoons.
No. Amazing.
and obviously, I've got to say this: every great singer has always released a Christmas song, and you've done it.
Thanks.
You did a Christmas song.
I did. For me, it was special to do it. It's a song that means a lot to me.
Right.
And I was thrilled to get it picked up by CMT, an American songwriter, too, did a huge write-up on it. It was probably one of the highlights of my career to have something so special to me be so revered, I guess, by publications that I've looked at my whole life and been like, I hope one day I could see my name in there. And there's a UK musician on that track. So the male vocal that's singing the harmony, and he plays the guitar. His name's Stephen Marks, and he's in a band called Gasoline and Matches. If you guys have not heard of them yet, you have to. They're such interesting people, incredible musicians, and incredible people. We met them on our very first UK tour. They were our opening band, and they gave us all our backline.
Wow.
And we became best friends from them. They came to America to see us. We did a little California tour and stuff together, and they're wonderful. So featuring him on the record for one track.
Well, if you need a warm-up act going forward, Sam and I are in a band together. Up All Night, we are called.
Yeah.
So we luckily we got a gig in before Christmas, didn't we?
We were very lucky. I mean, obviously, we're in lockdown now. Just before Christmas, there was a little period of time where restaurants were allowed to be open. We were sort of sectioned off in Liverpool, different areas, different zones. You're allowed to do certain things in different zones. But essentially in Liverpool, we were in tier 2, which essentially meant restaurants were allowed to be open. You could socialise, you could meet other people in groups of 6, which is weird. Anyway, we had a wonderful gig in Grand Central Hall, and we keep going on about it because it was one of the best gigs we've ever done. A sold out gig, 150 people, and we managed to somehow sell it out, and we were kind of like, how on earth did we sell it out? And we did, and we took a door split, and it was a risk for us because we like to think of ourselves as established covers band that do the corporate and the weddings corporate scene. So we don't usually do that sort of deal. So when it was sold out and when we got the nice pay, it was a nice day. It was a nice Christmas, put it that way, Jess.
Oh, that's awesome. You're so lucky too. Our last gig was March 11th. Wow. We've done live stream stuff, but that's awesome. And I grew up too. When I was 18, I made a living playing in a corporate band. So the amount of times I've played, as I'm sure you guys have, like play that funky music, White Boy, and shout and the standards.
The one that's in the band currently at the moment that everyone hates, bar me, is Shotgun by George Ezra. I don't know if you've heard that song.
Yes, but we haven't played that.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
My biggest fear in life, Sam knows this, of songs. It's an old one here. It's called Sweet Caroline.
Oh yeah. I will never play this. Like the minute I play this, I would rather just keel over and die. Is Celebration.
Oh. No.
That's mine. That's like the golden rule. Like, no, just no.
Obviously, hopefully next year things will get back to normal. Touring, is that what you like? Do you prefer touring or studio? What is there?
Touring. I built my career on being a live act as an independent artist. I've never been signed. So I built my career. The only thing I could afford to do was to get out on tour and to shake hands. And I didn't have money for marketing. I didn't have money for PR. So I did it myself by going city to city and making fans that way. And it's such a big part of me and who I am, where we have supposed to be 14 countries this year, close to 100 dates. Wow. Again, I don't feel super positive about it, but again, just like last year, if anything happens, hopefully it just gets shifted. And I just miss it so much. Honestly, that's how I feel most alive. Like in this world, it feels there's a piece of me missing, not being able to do that for sure.
Hopefully it'll all happen. And when you come to Liverpool, because Liverpool will welcome every artist, because we love music here, Sam and I will take you to somewhere better than Wetherspoons.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, there's better places than Wetherspoons. They're in the bad books at the moment for the way they've been treating the staff, apparently. But regardless, Jess, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with us. This is your opportunity to plug away, say whatever you want to say to the people of the SCE Live podcast.
Well, first, I want to say thank you. This has been a lot of fun. I love laughing and being silly, and you guys are right up my alley. But you can check out all my music, Jessica Lynn Music, if you just search everywhere, like on Facebook, anything with the verified, the blue check mark. My website's jessicalynmusic.org. And I have a brand new single, which I'm very excited about, coming out January 29th. It's called Getaway Car. It's up for pre-save now. I'm really proud of that song. And we got some cool UK stuff coming too. Something with a big magazine that will be coming out soon, and lots of exciting stuff. So make sure you follow me and keep in touch.
Yeah.
Amazing. Chris, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you, mate. See you soon. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you again to Jess.
Thanks,
guys. That's been.
I had a great time.
Thank you very much, Jess. That's been another edition of the SCE Live podcast. Make sure you do follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And as always, we'll have another fantastic guest next week. In the meantime, stay safe out there. Good night and God bless.